Hi, this is Ned Siegfried from Siegfried & Jensen. As proud sponsors of BeliefCast, we hope you are inspired by Todd's weekly podcasts, which contain so many courageous stories of recovery and personal growth. Remember, it's not what happened in the past that matters, it's what happens in the future. We invite you all to work hard and be optimistic about your future. Enjoy today's podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Todd Sylvester with the Todd Inspires BeliefCast. Thank you once again for tuning in. You guys have been fantastic week after week, and the support, and more importantly, you guys are sharing these episodes to the people that need to hear it as well. I want to thank you for that, and I want you to know that I'm getting feedback where people are saying, hey, I listened to this episode and it changed my life, saved my life. So thank you guys. I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors, Wasatch Recovery, Siegfried & Jensen, iHill Institute, Living Interventions Recovery, and Veracity Networks. We also have some silent sponsors that didn't want to be mentioned. They just love the cause. They said that they don't need any recognition. So I'm still going to say that, though. Thank you. I'm going to put that out into the universe and let you know how much I appreciate all of you guys. And we've had some amazing guests on the show. It blows my mind. I can't believe we're 5 years into this and we're just cranking, and so many people are being touched, and today is no different. We have Adam Nugent joining us today. Adam, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Todd. It's an honor to be here.
Yes. Adam comes highly recommended from several people that I know that absolutely love him. Let me give you a little background on Adam. He is the founder and CEO of Foresight Wealth Management, an award-winning full-service financial organization providing wealth management and financial planning for high-net-worth individuals and also small and large businesses across the country. You manage over $1.3 billion in assets. That's huge. Four-time Inc. 5000 recipient of one of the top investment firms in the country. You're also the founder of Nugent Good News, a movement to spread positivity into the world. We were just talking about that off the air, how important and how much this is needed. Right?
Yeah, 100%. It's contagious.
It's contagious. Yeah. And I can't wait to have our listeners know more about what you're doing there. You also are a contributor to Forbes Financial Council. You've been featured nationally in Market Wired, the Wallstreet Journal, Yahoo Finance, Utah Business, Financial Advisors, Good Things Utah, ABC, and many other outlets. And then you're also the host of your own podcast, one of the top podcasts in Utah, Nugent Good News. And so you get to be on the other end today, which is kind of nice, right?
I know, yeah. I get to learn the tips from you as I'm watching you do it from a hosting perspective.
Okay, well, great. No pressure there, yeah. Right? You have 4 boys. You're a go-getter. You live life to the fullest, and you're one of the top wealth advisors and financial mentors in the country. And it's just an honor to have you be sitting right in front of me. So thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Todd.
Yeah. So why don't we start? Let's let our listeners know, where did you grow up, and tell us a little bit about your childhood.
Yeah. So I grew up in Salt Lake. Lived in Salt Lake for, till I was 8 or 9 years old. Middle class family. My dad got a job in Chicago, so we moved to Chicago for a stint, and then kind of came back. So most of my life, Salt Lake's been home.
Okay.
And I'm the oldest of 4 boys. And I'm the father of 4 boys. That's what I'm comfortable with. It's the world that I know.
Yeah, right.
And, it's those that have sons. I mean, it's just chaos all the time. I mean, you're the best of friends, worst of enemies,
Yeah.
But just a fun upbringing. We're all very close. All my brothers are doing very, very well in their career. And yeah, just, kind of grew up in a traditional, middle-class family here in Salt Lake. Yeah.
So how were you as a kid? Were you, were you confident and outgoing? Were you more laid back?
Yeah, great question. So we'll get to this. So one of the big journeys that I've been on has been on my health, on my physical health, as well as mental and emotional and all of it, but specifically on the physical. So, and I've battled weight gain and loss, well, mostly gain for most of my life. I joke that I could have gone on Oprah for how much weight I've lost and gained for over all the years.
Right.
And it started at a young age. It started at age 9. When we lived in Chicago, and, and I've battled it for most of my life, and all the emotions and things that come to that.
Yeah.
And so, because you asked, like, from a confident perspective, it was, I've always been very outgoing.
Yeah.
Tons of friends, I was student body president in high school, just very excelled in sports and athletics and different things. But, behind the curtain, if you will, there was a lot of pain, a lot of lack of self-love. almost this Jekyll and Hyde thing. And it's continued really up until just here in the last few years as I've really dug deep on me.
Yeah.
And where the outward appearance of how I show up in public or how people see Adam versus what's really going on behind the scenes or at home, in many ways, we're two very different people.
Wow.
And coming into alignment with that and really working and facing the guy in the mirror with stuff that frankly I haven't dealt with most of my life has been a journey that's taken me places I never ever anticipated I would go. It's taken me to the lows of lows. It's also opened my eyes to the highs of highs. And it's like, I see life through a completely different set of lenses that I do now than I ever did for most of my life.
For sure. Well, I definitely want to go over that journey because, again, you're doing all these great things and we're going to get into that. But we want people to, Adam does look like he's got it all put together, but, behind the scenes. And I think we all can relate with that because we all have our struggles and this and that. So this happens in 9th grade when things start to you start struggling.
9 years old.
Or excuse me, 9 years old.
Yeah.
Tell us, how was that? Were you sad and depressed as you started realizing you're struggling with this?
So it's interesting. There's a lot tied to the age of 9. So what's interesting, I didn't have really awareness around it. And so again, you can pinpoint things. I broke my arm and then I had my appendix. So I was out for a while. So I was this, kids are active. I was inactive. Yeah. And one of the ways that I used to cope through things was through eating. Well, my parents, bless their souls, didn't know what to do with their oldest son here. He's putting on weight. So they got the advice from a pediatrician at the time that, hey, you need to help him exercise and so forth. So my parents bought this trampoline, believe these little mini tramps.
Oh, yeah.
It was a joke for years.
Right.
Well, so they'd have me jump on this thing at night. So what happened is, and just even here recently in the last few years, I've had to work through some of the stuff with my parents. Why in the heck did you why did you make my weight such a thing at such a young age?
Right. Yeah.
And it became a stigma for me where I feel like and I have my youngest now is 11, but when I had a 9-year-old, I can't imagine bringing attention to it like my parents did. And again, it was from a place of love.
Sure. They're doing their best.
They're doing their best. And they got advice from the pediatrician, but all of a sudden I had a stigma around it. And I felt that I was less than because of that. And that I would say that it was, and when we were living in Chicago. So it's that is a pivotal moment in my life that kind of put me on a trajectory that looking back on it, it's like I can understand it. There's this thing that sounds silly today, from a trampoline incident, but it was just awareness around it. And from that moment on until here just recently, it's been a battle I've dealt with for most of my life.
Yeah. Wow. Well, and I'm glad you said that about your parents. I mean, they're doing the best that they can. They came from a place of love. There's an old Latin proverb that says, believe that you have it and you have it. And so in that moment, you started believing oh man, I got something wrong with me. I'm less than, or whatever the exact words were, right?
Yeah. Lack of self-love. Yeah. I'm not as good as anyone else. And then just there was even shame around it. I mean, so many emotions.
So talk about what, move on from there. And how did this affect your behavior in school and just with relationships as you were growing up, and talk about what, maybe the challenges you went through.
Yeah. So, accelerating as you get older, I became self-conscious of it. And to the point to where, again, I was really outgoing. I was, very social, had lots of friends and everything, but there was a component or an element of me that held back.
Yeah.
Right. Especially even when it came as you get older into junior high and high school and you're starting to date and you're getting into girls. It's well, I'm not enough.
Yeah.
And again, I don't look a certain way and different. I mean, you just have to have this belief pattern. And I believe that the most attractive quality that any one of us can have, I mean, if there's a number of them, but I think the number one that shows up is confidence.
Ooh, I love that.
So confidence is sexy. It's attractive. Mm-hmm. I mean, we do business with it. I mean, it's just, you want to be around people that are confident, not arrogant. There's a difference.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
so where there was just a lack of confidence, which was interesting because I wasn't really open at that time for years where I even shared my feelings around a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
So again, if you want to call them demons or this voice in my head that was you're not enough, you're not good enough, tons of shame, guilt. It's lack of self-love. I think the core of all of who we are, if you peel all the layers back of anything we're working through, it comes back to how we see ourselves and how we love ourselves. So from a confidence perspective, lacked it, didn't have it. But yet in other areas of my life, I was crushing it, whether it was in sports, student government, in different areas, friends, which was wild to think that I could have this whole other side of me that people didn't see, or it was just this ongoing battle in my head for most of my life. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's, you very well said, Adam. And I think a lot of us could relate with what you just said. I was really good in this area in my life, but these areas, man, I really struggled, and it goes back to those beliefs that you had formed because of, the things that you had gone through. Right.
Yeah. It all goes back to that little trampoline, mom and dad.
Yeah.
No, it's not their fault. It's not on them. Yeah. I can laugh about it now, but
yeah. But again, you're a young kid. You don't know how to handle it at that age. You just start thinking, wow, I guess something's wrong with me, and I got to deal with
and my
this.
brothers can eat anything they want. They don't put on weight. They got metal. It's funny, even my kids. I mean, everybody around me, it's like I was the only one. And of course I'm not, but at the time I had this like, poor me. I was a martyr. I had this martyrdom victim mentality for a long time, specifically around that.
Yeah, victim mentality. So you've gone through this. When did things start to change, or did something happen that made you finally go, okay, I got to start really working on this? Talk about that transition, if when that happened.
Yeah. So this internal battle, again, stemming that my worth was based upon how I looked in the mirror. That has been an ongoing thing. I would say I'm 44 now. Yeah. Up until just the last 2 to 3 years, as I've been on this huge, transformational journey. About 4 or 5 years ago, take a couple steps back. So I actually divorced. So I've been divorced now about 4 or 5 years. So that was one big pivotal moment in my life and going through that. Yeah. But prior to getting divorced, there was this moment, again, that victim martyr mentality where it's even with my ex, my co-parent, which today we're really great friends. Like I wouldn't wish divorce on my worst enemy. Sure. Yeah. And I'm grateful for all of it because she's in a better space. I'm in a better space, and we're better now than we even were when we were married, which is beautiful.
That's good to hear. I'm glad.
But getting back on that, where I was a mess, and I had this thought or this shift come in, or idea come in my head. I'm like, I gotta quit making this about everybody else. This is about me. Mm-hmm. So I I was referred to a therapist. I'm a huge advocate for therapy. Yeah. And prior to that, it's like for me to go share my feelings with somebody, it's like, oh no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Or even being open, or even the thought of even doing this podcast 5 or 6 years ago, be like, oh, no way. I'm running from that. Yeah. So honestly, and I called this therapist. She goes, why do you want to come in? And I quote, I said, I want to figure my stuff out. I want to figure out what in the heck is going on. Yeah. And it was 6 or 7 years. And that was the beginning of my inner work, if you will.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
And
love that.
My girlfriend now, she's an amazing woman. She said something, even before we were dating, which resonates big time. And she says, I believe that your outward appearance is a manifestation of what's going on the inside.
Sure.
Yeah. And the truth is like, as I've shed weight, as of recording this podcast, I've lost now over 120 pounds. I was a big boy.
You look phenomenal.
Thank you.
Seriously.
But prior to that, but the work comes, again, it's calories in, calories out, but I've been working on healing the inside. Yeah. And as I've healed the inside, it's amazing how much weight and how much our body actually manifests to us physically, whether it's aches and pains, anxiety. There's a number of different things that get physically manifested. Like we don't maybe necessarily know what it is, but the truth is there's pain, there's trauma, there's something there that's creating that. And when we can get to the point and identify that, that's where we're able to release it. And for me, it was just this shedding process of just layers and layers and years of just old beliefs, trauma, that, and again, it's the knowing that I'm enough.
Yeah.
Because I did not believe I was enough. My therapist, the first one I went to, she asked me, and would ask me repeatedly, she goes, do you feel like you're worthy of love? I couldn't even answer the question. Wow. I couldn't even say, to me, it's like, oh, hell yeah, I'm worthy of love. Everybody's worthy. But at the point I lived, at that point in life, I could not even answer the question.
Yeah. And I would challenge the listeners hearing this right now. Have you ever felt that way? And I bet most of you have on some level. So I think it's unfortunately very common. But man, to hear you say that, because at this time, this was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yep. I
would assume that you're still pretty successful in business. Things are going in a good direction there.
Our business was growing, and again, part of, and I'm grateful for it too, because I was in an unhealthy communication skills, whatever. We just weren't in a healthy marriage, and so one of the things I got fulfillment at work. It filled my cup. So it's like I was grinding and I was working. And again, trying to find the balance of that and being in a marriage, it also took a toll on a marriage because I'm working all the time.
Because you're always working.
Yeah. And so, so the business is thriving. It's doing that. It's just how I'm coping through my emotions. I'm numbing, and food was my drug. I mean, at the end of the day, that if, eating was my addiction, food was my drug. Yeah. And it just, that's how I coped. If I got stressed, I was eating. If I was happy, I was eating. Wow. And that doesn't serve anybody. And it's just like, there was a moment here, even a few months ago, that I overate. I don't know. I just ate something crappy for the day, and how I felt, I just started crying. I'm like, I used to feel like this every day. Like, just so grateful for the awareness around it now. I feel very fortunate.
Man, that's beautiful. Well, I love what your girlfriend said about how our outer world mirrors our inner world, and there's a beautiful quote by James Allen in his book, As a Man Thinketh. He says, men are anxious to improve their circumstances, but they're unwilling to improve themselves. They therefore remain bound. And really, you were bound until you started doing that inner work, right? Like you could work hard at your business, do all this because you're a hard worker. Obviously, you wouldn't be where you're at, but it wasn't taking care of what you needed to until you went inside.
Yeah, and it's interesting. There's been moments in our life, I become overly, what's the word? I've become so hyper focused, so aware of accountability. Yeah. So in work, if, let's say, for example, so I have an investment firm, and if I had a client that was calling, and let's just say, honestly, I spaced it to call them or whatever. I'd be like, I'd make an excuse. Oh, meeting ran late or whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, I just forgot. Yeah. And I read a book. I can't remember who the author is, but it's called Getting Naked. And it's a phenomenal book. It's not a true story, but it's basically how this advertising agency, this small advertising agency that's like, they wear Birkenstocks to work, shorts, t-shirt. They're just really laid back, and this big, Wall Street firm ends up buying them. Okay. And the guy that keeps losing business to them gets assigned to this company, goes, go find out what their secret sauce is. Yeah. And he can't believe that they're giving things away. I'm a big advocate in kind of paying it forward. So they're just helping people before they even become clients. But there's this moment where one of the women is presenting to this board in this company, and she's screwing up, and the room's getting upset. People are freaking out. And this guy that's overseeing him, he's like, all right, now we've got him. Now she's going to fail. And she stops the meeting. She goes, you know what, everyone, I've totally messed up. She just owned it right there in that moment. She's like, I'm screwed up. I've taken you down the wrong path. Everyone in the room's like, oh, no big deal. The thing turns, and she ends up like doubling or tripling what she would have done otherwise. Right. And so there's this whole dialogue behind the scenes saying like, wait a minute, she owned it. She took accountability. Yeah. And it was interesting. That was a real pivotal moment for me. So for example, now when a client calls or whoever calls, is like, I forgot. Like if I forgot to do something, I'm not going to I don't make excuses for it. And with that same vein, if you want, my personal life, I just started to take accountability. I had to own my part of it. And the only thing that any of us have in control, or for me, Adam has control over, is me. Yeah. I have zero control over anybody else, even my kids. Yeah. I can say, go do this or do that, but at the end of the day, they get to choose. Yeah. And so that's my number one thing. Even with my boys, my sons, I have two major rules with them, and it's like, don't act entitled, right? Yeah. And be accountable. Wow. Own it always.
I love that. Thank you, Adam, for sharing that. That's beautiful. In this treatment center where we're live at right now, one of the things I talk all the time about accountability, and one of the blessings or gifts that you would say that you get from being accountable is suffering stops. See, when we don't take accountability, like if she wouldn't have said I screwed up and just try to play some story, well, this happened, there's some uneasiness, there's some anxiety behind that. There's suffering.
Because you're also not in alignment.
Yeah. And so as soon as you become accountable, suffering stops. Yeah. Isn't that cool?
And it's hard. It's not, I'm saying like, hey, it's big, I'm accountable for everything. No, it's not. I still check myself on a daily basis. Like, all right, is this mine? And even, and I'm grateful to people in my life that when I feel like I'm being accountable, but I'm really not owning my part of it, and then you get checked. I think the greatest thing that we can do is surround ourselves with people that support and love us, but then also will check us. That aren't, I think having everyone that says yes to everything you do, or like, yeah, I agree. It's like, someone that challenges you and questions you, I mean, that's where growth comes from.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful. I have a lot of people in my life that check me when I'm, not in that space or even when I think I am.
Yeah.
And it's a dance. I mean, we're all figuring this out as we go.
For sure.
And I'm grateful for the journey, and it has been a ride.
Man. Yeah. We talked off air. You called it kind of like a love of self journey.
Yeah.
Loving yourself again. And so that's obviously a process. I'm assuming now you do like love who you are and what you've become and everything you've gone through. Talk about that journey a little bit.
Yeah. So, it's my girlfriend now, Kate, that we're dating today. Before we were dating, we were friends, for about 18 months before we started dating. Anyway, we got introduced to a coach that it was where I'm a huge advocate of daily gratitude journeys. So I got introduced to kind of gratitude and all of that. But one of the modules, if you will, we're like, hey, let's do this together. It's like, okay. Was around the power of words, and it was around mirror work. So one of the assignments on a daily basis is you had to write down 20 I am statements. So like, I am beautiful, I am smart, I am sexy, I am whatever, successful, I'm a good dad, I'm a good husband, whatever. And then you had to go to the mirror and say them you had to look at yourself and say the things. Yeah. So I'm like, and she's one, like, if she commits to do something, she's going to do it. Like, she's one of those people. Yeah. Which again helps me be accountable in that. Well, in that moment, we didn't know each other very well. I write down the 20 things. I'm at my house doing it. I can't even say it. I can't look in the mirror. I can't say I'm worthy. I can't say I'm beautiful. I can't say any of it. It was too painful. Legitimately, I couldn't say it. Didn't believe any of it. So then she'd check in with me like, how's it going? I'm like, I just sit up and make excuses. Yeah. The truth of the matter is it was too painful.
Wow.
Couldn't do it. It was like the guy I saw in the mirror disgusted me. I was like, I wasn't enough. Yeah. Like, and just so many just horrible feelings. I mean, what's crazy is like, I'm a lover. Like, I love people. I show up for people, but it's like, but for myself, I mean, I wouldn't treat my worst enemy, the way I was talking to myself or treating me, my inner dialogue, which is wild. I think all of us have an issue. I think all of us struggle with the inner dialogue in our head.
For sure. Absolutely.
So again, on this like self-love journey, it's just, but I got tired, and it's like, I wanted my life to change. I wasn't happy. Like, and I'm like, I got to a point where it's like, what I'm doing is not working. Mm-hmm. The numbing's not helping. The food, none of it's helping. I've got to shift and got to change. I got so uncomfortable. There's been multiple moments, but it's like the light bulb goes off and I'm like, I'm done. Yeah. And in many ways, like even someone that's addicted to, someone might be alcohol, whatever, I believe all of us have an addiction of some kind. Yeah. I think all of us find ways to numb, cope, whatever it happens to be. I feel like there's judgment on, with food, obviously you could see it as I was walking around. Yeah. But there's judgment if someone's alcohol drinking, but there's other addictions. The list goes on and on and on. And there's not judgment to someone, the person that's exercising 15 hours a day, right? And they can't even function unless they're doing that. I mean, there's no judgment there. Society doesn't shame that. Right. But if someone's, smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day, they're bad. It's wild. Just what society says is bad, in quotations, not bad.
Exactly. Yeah.
So anyway, I was able to start to shift my emotions. And so when I all of a sudden got triggered or emotions, or I had those feelings, I'd go work out. I'm a huge advocate for breath, meditation, mindfulness, daily gratitude writing. I referenced earlier, I started doing that, a few years ago. That is life-changing. And what I found with daily gratitude writing, it's not only writing down the things, like I'm grateful for my boys, my home, whatever. Yeah. I write and express gratitude for what's stressing me out, what challenges I'm facing.
Ooh, I love that.
For what obstacles that I don't know how I'm going to get through or how I'm going to overcome. And what's wild, Todd, is that the energy around that shifts. Yeah. I go from like DEFCON 5 to something to like all of a sudden it's DEFCON 3. I mean, it's wild by just writing it out and even saying it out loud. Like, I'm grateful for that challenge. I'm grateful for this problem. And because I believe we always are in choice. Yeah. And even though sometimes you don't think we are, for most of my life, I didn't think I was in choice. I didn't even understand and realize that the pain and everything I had was my own doing. Yeah. Yeah. And I wanted to blame this. I wanted to blame that. But the truth is, it's all me.
It's all you.
So facing that guy in the mirror and doing that, and I think for any of us, facing the person in the mirror is the hardest work we'll ever do. Yeah. And I believe it's too painful for most. I wish I would have known how to do this 20 years ago,
for sure.
30 years ago.
Yeah,
but it's the most rewarding. It's that light at the end of the tunnel. It is priceless.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks for sharing that. I'm grateful for you, Adam. I really am. I actually have on my wall there, you have the dignity to choose. I think it's the ultimate power that we possess and we take it for granted. Not that we don't need help, but you said it so beautifully that it does come down eventually. I've got to make a decision to do something different. And you did. That's really cool. So you're raising 4 boys. You've obviously teach them not to be entitled, right? And then to take accountability. What are some other principles that you're teaching them through this journey that you've gone through and you're trying to help them go through?
Yeah, I want kind. I mentioned the entitlement part of it. I think kids, I didn't go on a plane until I was 17. It's the first time I went on a plane. Growing up, our road trips were to southern Utah in the minivan. Not even the minivan. We had a station wagon. We weren't even, we just didn't, and my kids were on planes when they were 2 months old and 3 months old, and they've traveled to so many places and experienced so many things that I never had an opportunity to experience. So entitlement, I think sometimes it's like there's this expectation behind it that it's like, oh, it's always going to be like that. It's like, no, I've worked hard to get to where we're at. This wasn't given to me. This is, money isn't given, it's earned. Yeah. So it's trying to teach them the principle behind that. One of the challenges I have is on the flip side, I want them to experience all these. I want to create opportunities. I'm a huge experience guy, but I also want them to learn the value of hard work. The greatest gift my parents, if I look back on all of it, the greatest gift my parents gave me is we didn't have excess money to do anything. Right. I got my first job when I was 10, just down the street, helping put labels on a local business newspaper. Yeah, wow. I had to do that to earn money. There were many times where there wasn't excess cash to go even to a movie. So I had to earn my own money. It's the greatest gift my parents ever could have gave me. And I'm in conflict with that sometimes, but I love it that my boys that are old enough to work, they've got jobs, they hate asking for money. It's just, I'm grateful because I feel like, again, they have a very different lifestyle growing up than I did. And they're still able to learn the value of hard work. So entitlement, accountability, own it. Yeah. And the other thing is don't lie to me. Yeah. Don't lie to me. Because we have this whole thing we call it, from the movie Meet the Fockers, the circle of trust. So we have the circle of trust, and I'm very honest and open with them. They ask hard questions, that I probably would never have answered in, Adam 1.0. Yeah. But they ask hard questions. I'm open with them about everything. Yeah. And when I ask them, we have this agreement, and they're really open. And I think some of the things that they share as teenage boys and life and everything that's going on, I think some parents would be like, woo. Yeah. And there are moments where I'm like, okay, what do I do with this? Yeah. But I'm grateful for it because there's trust that's been built in there because I'm showing up. I'm asking them to do something, but I'm showing up in that. Right. Right. I think the best way we can lead as parents or business leader, or whoever that is looking to us, is leading by example. Wow. Beautiful. I love that. Well, there's so much I want to talk to you about, Adam, but I do want to get into your good news movement. Talk about what that is and why did you start doing this? Yeah, great question. So, in your intro mentioned that I own an investment management firm, a wealth management called Foresight Wealth Management. Very successful. We've got clients all over the country. We've done very, very well. And one of the beautiful things that I love the most about being in this industry is getting to work with people and getting to know their stories. I love storytelling. I love hearing stories. And, we'll have people that have come in and we're helping manage their assets, whether it's, many times they've sold a business or could be an inheritance or it's stuff they've earned along the way or what have you. But these or rags to riches stories, the stories are incredible. What people don't realize is sometimes they'll see, someone really popular, have this multi-million-dollar exit and they think, oh my gosh, how did they do that? I don't know, there's no way, or they're better than me. And what people don't realize is, and we get to intimately know these our clients, is that particular person might have had a gun in their head in his mouth multiple times, had 4 mortgages, marriage, kids, cost them. The toll that it took to get there and the risk that it took to get there and pain. So many stories around it. And there's I think we tend as a society to put celebrities and other people on a pedestal, but don't realize they're human just like the rest of us. For sure. And they have their own struggles and demons and things they're working through. And so the movement, if you will, was really the idea came behind, it's like, we got to have a medium or a platform to be able to share people's stories.
Yeah.
And share like not only their successes, but like what obstacles did they overcome? What pain did they have to go through to get there? I believe what defines us are not our successes. It's the challenges that we're faced with and how we overcome them. Those are the defining moments. The successes, the awards, the accolades, that's just a result of the hard work that we had to do.
Yeah.
So Nugent Good News is the name of the platform.
Okay.
We've got a digital and a paper magazine that we send out, and we just share stories. And it's all about, there's business success stories. It's you're reading on your kind of on your bio, right? Uh-huh. The lemonade stand kind of moment.
Yeah.
We share lemonade stand stories.
Right on.
We're on all the major social platforms. We've got a whole incredible team that manages and does that. We have,
awesome.
Just like you, we've got a podcast that we run, and we're just sharing cool stories about cool people.
Yeah. Well, and I totally get that because I love doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here face to face with you, and I'm going, I get to see you face to face and hear this from you. How cool is that?
It's awesome.
Like, we're connecting, man. I get to know you better, and it's just, I love it, and I love that you're sharing good news, because there's a lot of good out there, and it's unfortunate most news stations will show all the negative, because again, that gets people to watch, but it's good that you're doing that. We need so much more.
Well, and how many people do you know that, like, I don't watch the news, it's too negative, it's too this, and even. It drives me crazy what major news outlets do, because headlines have to be captivating.
Yeah.
Like in the investment world, you'll see a headline, markets crashing. It's like, oh my gosh, the markets are crashing. And it's like, oh, it's down 0.5%. It's like, I mean, come on, get easy. You're giving me a heart attack for no particular reason. So it's, and people are just kind of put off on it. And also coming out of this global pandemics, and some parts of the world are still really in it.
Yeah.
It's like the world's been plagued with negativity, and we're in a very polarized society.
Yeah.
And if we can find a silver lining that kind of brings us all together, and just like those butterflies, the feel good stuff, the tears streaming down your face. I mean, that's ultimately what we're trying to do. Is we want our mission is to share, positivity and be part of the good news movement.
Wow. I love that. It's so cool that you're doing that. So, you're obviously, you've got this wealth management, full service financial organization. How long have you been doing that? And why did you get into that in the first place?
Yeah, that's a great story too. So I had no intention to get into this industry. So going back to college days, I wanted to go into the restaurant business. I love people.
Okay.
And here locally, I was working, I was going to the University of Utah, and I had registered at UNLV to go into hotel and restaurant management. I was working at a local restaurant, Lakai here, which is, for those that are in Utah, it's a popular, high-end restaurant. Anyway, I was always working with people, made great money. I was going to have this vision to open my own restaurant and do all of it. Well, I was bartending a wedding that nobody was drinking at, and one of the kitchen managers walked out in the middle of there were hundreds and hundreds of people there. So I went in and cranked out the salads and the desserts and did all of that.
Yeah. And
so the owners offered me what they called a pantry manager position. It was I was 22 at the time. It's like $28,000 with benefits. I'm like, I don't need benefits, like $31,000. I'm like, $31,000 and I'm 22.
You're like, yeah,
please sign me up.
Yeah, right.
And then, but then what happened is I was behind the scenes, not working with people, and I learned to hate the restaurant business, loathed it. And so my father was a lifelong life insurance guy, swore I'd never get into that industry. And it's ironic now that, I've been divorced, but I was newly married. She'd go to work at 6:30, come home at 2:30. I'd go to work at 2:30. We never saw each other. So in an effort to kind of save my early marriage and kind of work through that, I quit. I had to borrow some money from my grandfather.
Yeah.
Bless his soul. And he lent me some money so I could make the transition. So I started doing insurance. This is 21 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And then got, securities license thereafter, just had a knack for it and just took off from there.
Wow. Isn't that cool how things, when you look back and go, man, look how that dot connected with this dot and that dot connected with this. And
I had no intention of getting into this. None, zero. Literally, I was going to own a Chevy's Fresh Mexican restaurant, or I don't know, I was going to open my own. I mean, I had all these, and that's still a bucket list item for me, but from an investor perspective, if the manager walks out in the middle of the shift, no one's there, it shuts down, my life doesn't get affected by it, whatever, I'm all in. But other than that, I have no desire to work in a restaurant.
Well, now your firm manages over $1.3 billion in assets. I mean, to think that how that started to where you're at now.
Yeah, it's wild.
And how cool it is that your grandpa believed in you enough to, you know what, I'm going to help you out. Here you go. And that little bit of help led to this.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Incredible. It was, I remember I needed I didn't even know how I was going to do it. I go, Grandpa, I need $6,000. Cause I figured he's like, I'm not going to give you $6,000. I'll give you $2,000 a month for 3 months. And I'm like, okay. I mean, it saved me, but by that time I was, very fortunate to be able to start making money, relatively quickly with the industry because I worked hard, but it was like, again, how old was I? 23, 24. Just young. Yeah. So it, I just I feel very blessed and fortunate just the way it all kind of took off. And again, that confidence, right, is I started to have success in my career, and as it really started to I got super confident in it. And I think, again, people are attracted to me, to our firm because of that. I mean, I think, again, whatever your specialty is, whatever your thing is, when you're confident in that space, I believe in energy attracts energy.
For sure.
And it's attractive. It's such an attractive quality.
Well, and I agree with that 100%. It's like, again, it goes back to when you take accountability, like that story you shared when that woman took accountability, it connected the whole room with her, And again, like attracts like, you know what I mean? And we can all relate to, we all make mistakes. And it's great when someone just owns it. Yeah. Because we go, yeah, I've done that 1,000 times,
Yeah. And again, I found with, again, likes attracts likes, energy. I think whatever vibe, whatever energetic length, wavelength someone's vibing at, they're going to track that wavelength. If someone's vibing at a different level, they might bring them in, but they're not going to be able to stay there with them. And so, I hear people saying like, I want to be with more people. I want to raise the bar with the people I'm associated with. Well, in order to raise the bar with the people you're associated with, you got to raise your own bar.
Exactly.
What's wild is the answer to any of these issues or concerns that we have in our life. It's inside. It's an inside job. It's about job. Nobody else.
Yeah.
And so again, when you peel the layers back of all the stuff that we deal with in our life and family, business, whatever it happens to be, you peel all the layers back. It's an inside job. It always is.
I love that. I was speaking to a client this morning, Adam, where we were talking about this very thing. And it's interesting when we actually start owning it and start working on the inside, people come out of the woodwork to help. It's weird how that happens. It's when we play the victim and we don't do that stuff that we feel like no one wants to help us. We feel isolated. But in reality, if we start doing it for ourselves, people come out of the woodwork to help.
100%.
Isn't that amazing?
I think, again,
it's
energy's
so cool.
all around us. And you're in a way, when you start to own it, when you start to actually even, again, mirror work, as I mentioned earlier, when you actually start to speak it, it's wild. The power of manifestation. I'm a big believer in that, and it's real. I've seen it work in my own life. I've seen it work in the life of countless others.
For sure.
It's a mindset.
It's a mindset. Love it. Well, if there's someone listening to you right now, Adam, who's in a really bad place, they're just struggling, and they're listening to you this very moment. You've already shared some really wonderful things, but what's one thing you could share to this person right now who maybe feels lost?
Yeah, hopeless, I think is a good word that comes to mind. So, and I've been there more times than I can count.
Yeah.
I think, again, on my own journey and realizing it, I think, and maybe I don't think this is just me. I think we tend to make things much bigger or much more severe than maybe they actually are. I mean, what do they say, that most of the things we worry about don't ever come to fruition anyway?
Yeah, was it Mark Twain that said, I spent most of my life worrying about things that never happened?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. And the amount of things that I've worried about over my lifetime, I can't even, that's been me.
I know, me too.
So I feel like that person that's like struggling, that feels like no hope, going back to what I said earlier, peel it all back. And it's hard because if you don't have the tools and you haven't done the work, it's hard to even see life this way. But the truth of the matter is like, if I could say anything, that it's like the answer's inside of us.
Yeah.
There is hope. There is a way to get through it. You just have got to, you have to look inward and seek out help and therapists and counselors and loved ones. And again, when I mentioned, I'm friends that check you.
Yeah.
If for example, if someone's dealing with an addiction, a drug or an alcohol, the friends I'm talking about that are checking you, not the guys or men or women that are in there with you. It's like you need the ones that are going to help pull you out of it. Yeah. Someone that loves you so much, they're going to say the hard things that other people aren't. Right. And I've had several people in my life that have checked me. And when I get, I respond to being checked actually pretty well. Like I actually I wanted in my life. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a mindset change.
Okay.
So, and one of the easiest steps I think to really start that process, at least for me, was to start writing down what you're grateful for. There's always something that we can find gratitude in.
Yeah.
Always.
And I love when you said you're grateful for the stress. You're grateful for this challenge. You're grateful that I can't figure this out yet. I thought that was really cool that you said that.
Yeah. And it sounds cheesy, but it works.
Yeah.
It really works.
Well, and I agree with you. And people, that's what keeps people to not do it. They might go, that sounds cheesy. And then they don't do it. They don't witness for themselves. Gratitude is the most powerful stimulant on the planet.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. So I love that you said that. And that's great advice for that one person who's struggling. Well, Adam, you're amazing. I love what you're doing. I love your energy. I love your passion to make a difference. It's so cool that I look at your life. Life happened for you. You went through all these struggles to be in a position where you're doing this, the Nugent Good News movement, and you're making a difference in people's lives. It's so fun to watch.
In my daily gratitude journal, I write things I'm grateful for. I still write I am statements. I remind myself of how cool and how great of a person I am. And it's like, and sometimes people have even a weird energy around that, but to me, it helps build my confidence. It helps me see me that. But the other thing that I write down is what you just said. Life is happening for me, not to me.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
I write it down every time I write in my journal. I write that phrase down.
Yep. That is a game changer in itself. Just understanding that.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Well, if people want to reach out to you, Adam, they want to get to know you better, if they want to follow your podcast, if they want to use your services for their financial, situations and stuff, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah. So I'm on Adam Nugent, just my name with no spaces, on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Our investment firm's foresightwealth.com. They can go there.
Okay.
And then our good news platform is nugentgoodnews.com. And or Nugent Good News on any of the major social platforms.
Beautiful. Well, I'll have that in all the show notes as well. So we'll tag it all. And, but yeah, that's wonderful. And I encourage anyone listening to this, reach out to Adam if you have a question. He's obviously been through a lot in his life, but he's also been very successful at the same time. And I love that he lives by the mantra, life happens for me, not to me. So please reach out to him. And I would also challenge our listeners, if you have a loved one who's struggling, share this episode with them. If you're not sure how to talk to them or even break the ice, send them this and it'll break the ice a little bit. Because again, it's not, you're doing great things, but it's more about the journey that you said, the self-love journey, man. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I'm still on it. And it's gone from a daily battle to I'm progressing along those lines. Yeah. And to just say with confidence, no, I love myself. And that's, I just think I didn't realize how important that is to not only say, but to feel.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for being here, Adam.
Thanks, Todd.
Seriously.
It's an honor. I appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity.
This has been so awesome. Thank you. Well, folks, there you go. I told you it was going to be another great episode, and it sure was. Adam Nugent. Please check him out. If you want to know more about what we're doing here, go to beliefcast.com, and you can check out all the amazing guests that we've had on. Please share, subscribe, download, all that fun stuff. Thank you once again to my sponsors. I wouldn't be able to do this without you. And all of you listeners that tune in, thank you. Again, like Adam so beautifully said about gratitude, I'm so grateful for you. And Adam, we're all grateful for you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Thanks, Todd.